parents were entrepreneurs. They were factory workers, and before that, they were farmers. And, so I experienced that whole life, that transition of financial freedom. I wrote it for myself. Initially, it was for myself because I was tired. I was tired of the roller coaster entrepreneurship. That's what inspired me. I said, I need to put all of this knowledge when you're listening to podcasts and you're listening to people and you have all this knowledge now in the AI age, you have all this knowledge at your fingertips. If I could just say one thing, entrepreneurship is something, it's a word that's thrown around a lot, right? And people don't really know what it means, right? And some people, we would say it's more than a business. And yes, it is more than a business. You know that I'm an artist, and my vision is says and I'm an IT specialist in my prior life. It's a platform. It's a blank canvas, and you have the tools to design a life aligned with your values, powered by your vision, whether it's a legacy, a lifestyle, or an empire.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Team Eagle Associates. Yes, TEA. Yeah. Individuals grow, but teams explode. Today, I have the pleasure, and I'm so fired up, to have Mayra Barreto, author, coming in to share some nuggets. She wrote this amazing book, right? 10 Truths Every Future Entrepreneur Must Know. I couldn't put the book down, and I'm an entrepreneur. Mayra, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in and tell us where you're coming in from this morning, and just share what you've been doing and why write a book in 2025.
Hi, everybody. Good morning there. Good afternoon here.
Oh, that's right. I'm in
We
California.
live, we hail, my husband and I, Julio, hail from Silver Spring, Maryland. And yeah, and I, why did I write this book? Did you want me to tell you more about myself or just jump right into the
You
question?
know what have you been doing? Have you always been an entrepreneur,
Got it.
or have you
Okay.
ever worked a traditional 9 to 5? You know, it's so funny. They talk as 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, right? And it's
Mhm,
and like it's such a big value, and people are looking good, smelling good, and broke.
mhm.
Why did they tell us about 5 to 9? 5 to 9. That's when
Right.
entrepreneurs should be doing their thing. So yeah, share with us.
Absolutely, yes. I had my experience with the 9 to 5, but it was more like 9 to 10 or 11. It depends on the peak season. I was an IT specialist. And I still am an IT specialist, but I don't get paid that much money. I get paid much more than that in my entrepreneurial business.
Mhm.
Um, but a little bit about my background is 38 years with the federal government in a I worked out of a cubicle, but I also had an office. It depends on how much they wanted to pad my ego. Um, but I loved what I did. I love creating things. I'm a visionary, and but it was not as fun to do it because you did it on somebody else's terms, in somebody else's environment, with somebody else's ideas. So your visions were squashed most of the time. And so yeah, I loved what I did, but now I do something that is, out of a place called home. And I love saying that because that's what this book is about. It's 10 truths every future entrepreneur must know, and building the life you deserve from a place called home.
Love
And
it.
it is a place called home.
So were you
Um,
able to return? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm
okay,
when I start
I
hearing
don't know.
stuff, and my mind starts to click because I know what the audience wants to hear.
Right?
Were you able to retire from
I
IT with
did.
the federal government?
I did. I retired nicely with the federal from the federal government, and but I still, you still have that inspiration. You still have that need to create something. I've always had the
Absolutely.
need to do something so that, so that I can help other people. It was always about what are you doing that's going to help somebody else, right? And
Absolutely.
the systems that I built with the federal government, they were all designed with the mindset that this is going to help somebody else. It's going to help with government workers are service oriented workers. And, it's going to help the public. It's going to help, the employees. It's going to help everybody do their job better and, and very seamlessly. That was always my goal.
Good. And I like that. So, how did you start being an entrepreneur? When did that happen?
Oh, wow, that's a very good question, and I love the answer because it's an experience that I'll never forget. It really laid down the groundwork for me, in my later years. So I started at 11 years old. I was living in Chicago with my parents, my family.
Nice. Okay.
And my parents were entrepreneurs. They were factory workers, and before that, they were farmers. And, so I experienced that whole life, that transition of financial freedom. And so at that time, my father had a goal to purchase his own business, to be his own boss. And he
Excellent.
did. He purchased a building that was four-unit apartments and two commercial establishments on the
Hmm.
ground. And
Hmm.
one of the establishments was a laundry room cleaners, right? And my
Okay.
father said, when you're not in school, this is where you're going to work. And and he said it's your business, right? You need to be prepared and you need to be organized and you need to watch the money. It's always about watching the money.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so at 11 years old, what do I know about any of that? Okay. But yeah, I went there. My job was to go every morning or after school, go to the
Hmm.
laundry room, the cleaners, and on weekends, every day during the weekend, and serve the people, clean the
I can.
washing machines and the dryers.
Yeah, that's the grunt work. And it's so funny. I'm a second generation entrepreneur. And my parents had a distribution business, traditional brick and mortar business. They started 55 years ago. And I would come home from school every Tuesday, and my job was to stock the shelves. And I was just a little thing, and I just got so excited to see all these boxes
Yeah.
that I unpacked and stocked the shelves. And I know how you feel. That instilled in me such pride that I want to be an entrepreneur like my parents. So bless your parents for putting that desire in you. And that's our hope for today. To our audience, that's why you should think about finding, if you don't have a business of your own right now, find one. And you're like, well, I can't leave my job. Find something, like Myra said, build a life you deserve from a place called home and build it part time. Yes. And when your part time income exceeds your full time income, now you got some choices. So what you wrote this book, and when you wrote it, who was it for? Was it for the audience, for the world, or who was it for?
Well, to be quite honest with you, Kelly, I wrote it for myself. I wrote it for myself. Initially, it was for myself because, you know, I was tired. I was tired of the roller coaster entrepreneurship, and
Mm,
and and so that's what inspired me. I said, I need to put all of this knowledge when you're listening to podcasts and you're listening to people and you have all this knowledge now in the AI age, that you have all this knowledge at your fingertips. right?
Absolutely.
And it's like, the shiny object. And, you look over here and it's, oh man, that's so exciting. I'm going to do that. And I always, everything I did, I always looked at it as how am I going to monetize this, right?
Right,
And
right, right.
how am I going to share it with somebody so that they can profit from it as well? That's
I love
always
that.
been my mindset.
Yeah,
And so I built it for myself, for women just like me, looking to start somewhere but don't know where to start. That college graduate that's disillusioned, with job offers that don't match their potential. But the
right.
mom ready to build something from home, and for anybody who is ready or sick and tired of being sick and tired, of chasing that mighty dollar. And
Absolutely.
and nowadays there's more of that we see, and we we
Yeah.
feel the pain. It's the pain that we feel
Ooh,
around you, and you internalize that pain. You say, what can I do to help? What can
I
I
love
do?
that.
And that's why, and why now? Because all the excuses have expired. If they didn't
Wow.
expire within you, because you're sick and tired, what's going on in the world right now, you're forced to put those excuses away, flush them, just, it's
Move on.
gone, right?
Move on. Yes,
And, and
I
then
got you.
if
Let me
you
ask you
got,
this question. I'm
go,
sorry.
no, I
Let me
was
ask
going to say, if you got the faith and the willingness to learn, then this book gives you the mindset to believe that, you know?
absolutely. What the mind can conceive, it will achieve. Why I
Yeah,
like your book because it's visual,
yeah,
right? It helps that mindset. You made a thing, an entrepreneur roller coaster, and that's another great book by Daring Hardy that I'm going to recommend to our audience for anybody that's thinking in conjunction with
right.
the 10 truths every future entrepreneur must know. You know what? And you mentioned college students. It's they're spending thousands of dollars for education, and now it's
Yes,
about self-education
right.
because teenagers are entrepreneurs now because of the landscape of
Mhm.
the internet, guys. If I
Yeah,
could tell anybody, you know, be encouraged. There are so many great business models out there that have to do with online because that's the new line. So
right.
let me ask you this: what is the biggest myth about entrepreneurship that your ebook aims to correct, Myra?
The biggest myth. Well,
Biggest myth.
before I answer that, can I just go back to that before
Yeah,
question? You had
absolutely.
triggered
Now
my
you,
mind,
yeah,
and I
good.
wanted to say, you said that college students and teenagers are entrepreneurs. My granddaughter, she's 11 years old. She started her own Etsy business, and we've always instilled with them, if you're going to do something and you're going to do it well, then do
Yeah,
it so you can share it and you can
right.
profit from it and other people can profit from it. And that is their mindset. They always, everything they do, they think, oh, I can sell these. I can sell these at my school, although that we found out that's prohibited. But
Okay,
um,
okay.
but that's what I just wanted to know. Age is no limit. Age has no limit to entrepreneurship. And so, yeah. And
What's
so,
Julio now? Your husband is Julio,
yes,
right?
yes,
Now,
ma'am.
what does Julio do? Because usually like minds, you guys are on the same page. What does he do? Is he an entrepreneur as well?
He is. And when we first met, some of our most interesting conversations when we were dating is, business, building business. And
Yeah.
we were always looking for, again, building a business, and how does this make a great business, right?
Mhm.
Because we don't put all our eggs in one basket.
That's
We
true.
can't depend on, that one business to make a big business. Although when it does, it does. I mean, we listen to Myron Golden. How many businesses does he have?
Sure. Sure.
And
Money makes
so
money.
And yeah, businesses
Uh-huh.
that make money. And these are business that you don't you build them right, and they keep paying you.
Yes.
It's that residual income that keeps coming and keeps coming, you know?
Yes.
So you don't have to be a slave to your business,
Right.
but you know, you feed it and it'll feed you.
So what's Julio do as well
Uh,
in business? Because you know you guys are dynamic.
yeah. He builds his business, he builds his entrepreneurship business. He has an e-commerce business that he
Awesome.
does very well with.
Mhm.
You know, I used to call him the tall, dark, and handsome and the gifted gab because he can talk to a tree post
Yeah,
and it'll answer him.
I love
Uh,
it.
so so yeah, he's a weapons instructor, so he teaches, right? He
Yeah,
teaches the right way. He doesn't teach because it's glamorous or it's the in thing or I'm cool, you know.
yeah,
Teaches the right way, and he teaches with biblical principles
love
so
it.
that people know that, you know, this is not a right, you know, it's something you earn and it's something you respect. Um,
That.
and and so I can go on, but we have limited time. I want to talk about my book.
No, I know. We're going to talk about the book, but I love that you talk about biblical principles because, you know, we were put on this planet to be fruitful and multiply. Yeah, that means having some kids, but to be fruitful and multiply in our life, right? And subdue the earth. And it's so interesting. You work for the federal government. How many thousands of people have been laid off from the federal government today? That's why I know your book is so timely for people to read, guys. And I just want to show you something. And I want to say this for the first 100 people, who subscribe, you will get a complimentary copy of this amazing book. It will absolutely change your life.
Unlock the secrets to entrepreneurial success with 10 truths every entrepreneur must know. Seriously, if you're dreaming of building the life you deserve, this ebook is your ultimate guide. Imagine diving into practical tips that transform your hustle into real results, all from the comfort of your home. These truths are like your personal roadmap, guiding you through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship.
Hit subscribe, put in the comments, I'm one of the first 100, and we will send and put your email in there, and we will send you a copy of this amazing book that will change your life. You know, if you really want to change your life, you're really going to have to change your life. And you know how you change your life? You conceive, believe, and you achieve. And you do that self education, right? Self education, and you begin to grow your mindset. So I love that. How does this ebook? Well, tell me about the ebook. Just tell me, give me some nuggets that they can drool on and say, I want that book. I want that book. Let me hit subscribe now, and I'll put
Yeah.
my email in the comments. Tell me about it.
All right. So, thanks for the question because I really enjoyed writing it, and it was an inspiration just came to me that I said, I have to do this. I have to write it,
Amen.
and then I said, and it's something that tell me what are the truths. And I started off with thinking, what are what are the lies that are people are telling you, because we could start a business, and you confronted with all these you know people tell you, yes, you can get rich in 30 days, and all these things that you're not going to spend a lot of money. It's not going to take a lot of time. But the truth is, it may not take a lot of money, but it takes a lot of if you want to build it right, it will take you time. I mean, you and I both know that there have been a lot of nights that we have been up, but because we want to serve the people, because we want to serve the people. But um, so it takes late nights. It takes, you're confronted with risk. But if you have a vision and you have the desire, then the risks don't matter, right? And you're
Absolutely.
going to be confronted with rejections. You
Yes.
you be confronted with rejections, but what does our coach says, I get energized when somebody says no, right? And so and that's why, and the 10 truths just gives you examples. They give you the truth, they give you the lies, they give you the examples of real life people that have made it happen. And then, quotes that will inspire you from the great
Yes.
people, you know, that have done the have done it. Give
Yeah.
me a minute, please.
Okay. I'm going to give her a minute. And while she's taking this minute, I'm going to talk. The bottom line is this. See, this is real. This is not talk. I love podcasts, right? I love podcasts because we're just real people with real dreams that are sick and we're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being broke. And we decided as entrepreneurs to take the bull by the head and find a business model, right, that can take care of our pain. She talks about pain, right? What is pain for most people? Fear of being laid off, no security in a job, putting food on the table, sending these children to college or to private school. That's pain, right? Health challenges, right? Bills are going up. We don't know what's going to go on with the seniors. Seniors are, they're afraid what's going to go on with Social Security, right? There's so many chaotic things that are in the world that are that are coming at us. I want to say that word, but they're coming at us 24/7. And I want to give you a nugget. Turn the news off. Only time you should watch the news is early in the morning just to find out what demons and devils are out there doing stuff to get in your pocket. And that's the government's job. Their job is to stay in our pocket. And that's why I had Mayra come in and talk about her amazing book, because everyone is perplexed. Let me tell you, this country was founded on entrepreneurship. It was. It wasn't until the 1750s. Yeah, there were peasants working on farms, the agricultural age, but this country was founded on entrepreneurship. And so then people started to go to a job. The machine age came in 1750. But the ones that stepped up, those peasants who made machines, became the super rich, the Henry Fords, the Singer sewing machines, Walmart, right? When you read the book, yes, was McDonald's, Ray Kroc rejected? Yes. People, when he was talking about buying McDonald's franchise, people were like, 70 years ago, what is eating out? Nobody ate out, right? That and he got rejected thousands of times, but he found 35,000 people that said yes, and they make billions on a hamburger. And my hamburger is actually better, and probably yours is too. Through the book, you'll hear about these stories of entrepreneurs. Yes, it will be rejection, but that's why we encourage you to find a great mentor. At the end of this video, please go to our website, right? It's egowealthguide.com. And we talk about business models, right? Read author Mayra Barreto's book, and whatever you're looking at, make sure it's lining up with what you want. And don't make it a hobby. You're like, oh, I love pottery, I'm going to sell it. No, don't make that a hobby. That's your hobby. Find a legitimate business, a real business that you will build, and find a great system and a great mentor and a great coach, right?
Right.
That'll take you, follow the yellow brick road down the road. And that book, the book that Myron has written, that is follow the yellow brick road, follow the book, open up the book, right? There's a saying, if you don't want people to know something, write it in a book. And here Myra has taken the time. Yes, it was for her initially, but I am so glad that she is opening up to the world, because no greater time in history should a person be thinking about entrepreneurship, and it's now. There's too many opportunities out here. Wealth has a need for speed. And right now we're on a Zoom call, you're on a YouTube, and this is where the money is. This is where the land is. So I just dropped a hint. Myra, in closing, what should people do now? What's your thought?
Wow. I think that people, like you said a lot of it already, right? Um, and so, you know, this book will connect with people, right? Um, and we're working with Eagle Associates, like you said, okay? And 10 Truths is a doorway. It's a doorway, it's an icebreaker. It
Yeah,
introduces people to the mindset we build in Eagle Associates. It's faith-led, it's legacy-focused, entrepreneur that works from the place called home,
I
right?
love it.
Not from a
Yes.
cubicle, but but the truth is that you could be, if you have the right mindset and you have the right desire, you could build it anywhere. You can build it in a cubicle, you can build it, in a closet, in your home, you can build anywhere. Because really, when the facts don't count, when you have the right desire, the facts don't count. They just don't. And once somebody takes ownership of the book, embraces the content, they're invited into a larger conversation, right?
Nice.
Through our Facebook page, our
Yes.
our boot camps, our
Yes.
mentorships. We offer systems that help you get into action, right? It's
Yeah.
not just the book, right? It's a pathway to
Yeah.
success, the success that you want. It's not the success that's in the book or the people that are displayed in the book. It's the success that you map out, the one that's in your DNA,
I
right?
love it. Yes.
And you know, it, you know, listeners connect with you. They grab the book or get plugged into community. The best place to start, as you said, is eaglewealthguide.com. You'll
Love it.
find a downloadable guide, Successful Business from Home, and more importantly, a clear next step. If you're serious about building income and impact from home, let's talk. Let's talk. We will, leave your contact information at eaglewealthguide.com, and let's build a business that honors your vision and funds your future. And we'll make sure that we pair you with a coach that is equal to your mindset, that'll nurture your vision, and will help you, pave the way to your success. And
I
so
love it.
that's that's my book. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
And you're sticking to it, and I'm sticking with you. So let me
Amen.
ask you: Is there anyone have a quick question? Helen said the title is amazing. Thank you, Helen. Let's see. Kathy Smith said, "Great job, Myra." Oh, I love it. Let's see. How do you begin to create a family culture of entrepreneurship when there isn't any experience of this?
Wow, that's a great question.
That is really a heavy question.
Yeah, really heavy question. And I believe that my husband and I, we have embraced entrepreneurship. But if I could just say one thing, entrepreneurship is something, it's a word that's thrown around a lot, right? And
Mhm,
people
mhm.
don't really know what it means, right? And some people, we would say it's more than a business. And yes, it is more than a business. And you know that I'm an artist, and when my vision, it says and I'm an IT specialist in my
Mhm.
prior life. It's a platform. It's a blank canvas. And you have the tools to design a life aligned with your values, powered by your vision, whether it's a legacy, a lifestyle, or an empire. You know,
Yeah.
the blueprint is yours to create, right?
Yes.
The world is your oyster. But build a culture. We've built a culture, you know, within us because we drank the Kool-Aid, right?
Right.
We are, you know, we are looking to always serve people and better our lifestyle and those of our family and our family's family. And we teach it, we live it, you know, it oozes from our veins. We can't help ourselves but think about how 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 to identify a skill. We see a skill within everybody. Everybody has a skill. They just
Yeah.
don't know that they have it, right?
Right. Right.
And we kind of like, you know, we build that skill. We help them believe in that skill. And we
Absolutely.
help them, you know, look at ways that they could profit from a skill and monetize it. And
Right.
that's what we teach. You know, we teach it because we know it, we live it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that answers your question, but that's, you know, in our family and in our culture and the people that, you know, are within our sphere of influence, they know. They already know it. They feel it
Absolutely.
and they embrace it as well.
And then you did answer it. And I love that you said with the Team Eagle Associates, it is about community. And when you're
Mhm.
looking for a business model, we gave you nuggets, guys. The wealth is created online. I'm telling you, if you have money, go get some land. But there's some other things we could talk about that.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a home-based business, find a culture that is already moving and then become part of that culture. There's a great book out there. Myra, we love this book. Who Not How. Who Not How. Remember, Dave Sullivan wrote it. Which is a great book.
Mhm.
And we surround, like Myra said, we look for everybody's got a gift. And when you hit the planet, God dropped a gift inside of you. Yep. Yes, he did. And he put some dreams inside your heart, but it got polluted by no, you can't go to work and get a good job,
Mhm.
oxymoron, right? When God put all these dreams and you're like, why am I so discontent? Well, because it's already built inside of you. So, like Myra said, you're going to bring your gifts to any business model that I'm always saying. And you can check us out. We're the best of the best in coaching. But that's what you want to look for. You want to look for a community that is here to develop the gifts, the God-given gifts that He has put inside of you, so you can create a life of your own desire based on the gifts. So we all bring our gifts and talents together, right? Myra wrote a book. I didn't write the book. Myra wrote a book. I'm getting blessed because of Myra's talent. Myra's IT, right? I have so many wonderful people that are part of our TIA, right? Our team, Eagle Associates, and they brought their gifts, and we are just blessing hundreds of people worldwide and teaching you entrepreneurship, but also how to develop your gift. To follow previous question, Helen said, if it hasn't been nurtured in your upbringing, where do you start? Yes, the word is really publicized more now than ever, but every culture group is nurturing. Sounds like this is an amazing culture to be part of. Well, when you want to find a culture, great question, Helen. You want to find a culture that has an educational system in it. All right. That's going to, leaders are readers.
Yes.
We all must learn to earn, right? We got to get that traditional garbage out of our heads that people said, no, you can't. All those voices that are telling you, you'll never amount to anything and all that. So, great question. So, we begin to work on people's self image. I love that we do that at here at Eagle Associates, Team Eagle Associates, because we never outrun our picture. So this is a mentorship leadership program that we coach people that are hungry, appreciative, and ambitious to have their best life ever. And then we say, close the back door and come in and begin. This whole program for me, I'm second generation entrepreneur, it's taught me who I was. It taught me how to become better. That it's not about me. It is about me first because I have to develop myself to go help somebody else have a dream. So, Helen, yes, you can come in and not have that upbringing, but if you're coming to us, you were sent to us, and there's a seed of greatness that dwells inside of you, and we're just going to help you bring it out. Any closing words, Mayra? Thanks for that question. Helen, make sure to subscribe, be the first 100, and get that book, okay? And put it in the comment, hit subscribe. Go to the comment and say, email me that ebook. Please do that. Any closing remarks,
I
Mayra? I
do.
just fun with
Actually,
you.
and so you made me think about something that you just said. People may think that, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and you've arrived. And you just said, no, I was second generation, but that doesn't mean it's in my DNA and I've arrived. It
Right.
means that I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly feeding, that monster that wants to grow, that wants
Yeah.
to, that wants to come out. And to do that, you have to read. You have
Yeah.
to read, you have to listen, you have to be coached, and you have to be able to have an open mind to
Yes.
receive it.
Love it. I love it. Myra, thank you so much for bringing your gifts to
Thank you.
Team Eagle Associates. We absolutely love you. Guys, get the book. It's complimentary. Hit subscribe. Also, in the comment, give us some topics that you want us to talk about. Yeah, because we have so many different who's. I might even
Mhm.
ask her husband to come in and drop some nuggets. And he's got plenty of nuggets as an
He
entrepreneur.
does.
Absolutely. But we
He
love you,
does.
Myra. We love that
Love
you're
you too.
passing this on to your grandkids,
Mhm.
becoming entrepreneurs, and their mindset is as a result of what you learned from your parents that was
Mhm.
passed down to you, and now you pass it on to the next generation. And it's about
Absolutely.
creating generational wealth. So we want to just say we love you, we appreciate you, we say God bless America, but we say this: if it's to be, it's up to me. Have a great
Absolutely.
day. Love you guys. Take care, Myra. Thank you
Take
for sharing
care.
the dream. Bye
Thank
bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
And have a great day.
Yep.
Dreamers with a plan.